Hey guys, and welcome back to the Peteytown Piranhas College Football 26 Team Builder Dynasty. In this episode, we're going to continue MAC play, but this time we're going to go on the road for 3 straight games, so we'll see if we're ready for the test. The Piranhas are riding high after opening MAC conference play with 2 straight wins, but now they're going to go on the road for the first time in conference play as they travel to Central Michigan to test their mettle. Central Michigan comes in with a 64 overall, but you really can't take for granted how hard things are on the road, so we really got to be focused and bring our best stuff today.
He was seeing it quick, the ball was coming out, just touchdowns at will.
Peter Peterson finds Pete Dinklage over the middle of the field, and he gets extra yards to give us a first down. After a couple short completions, Peter Peterson comes to the line on 3rd and 2, looking to continue our drive. And he's going to find Sir Peter out there for the short completion to give us the first down. And Peter Boyle gets a big completion. He's going around, and he's got us to about the 25-yard line here. Peter Peterson finds, who's that in the middle? Sir Peter again, and he gets a first down on 2nd and 9. You could do another handoff to Pete up the middle, and it's wide open for the touchdown. Pete gets his first touchdown on the year as he salutes the Central Michigan crowd. After a stop by our defense, we find ourselves here on 2nd and 11. We're going to drop back to pass, and he fires, and he finds Pete Dinklage for the first down. Central Michigan manages to contain us to a 3rd and 9. Peter Peterson pointing out some checks to the guys. He's going to drop back to pass, and he's going to find Pete for a huge gain to get the ball into their territory. Oh, sir, and Pete breaks a tackle. He's got green grass, but they take him down before he can make it into the end zone. On 1st and goal, we are going to do an RPO, and Peter Boyle is wide open for the touchdown. The offense is just firing on all cylinders right now with the run game, the pass game. Everything's clicking right now in the first quarter for the Peteytown Piranhas. Central Michigan responds to that touchdown with a huge run of their own to get themselves close to midfield. 2nd down and 5. Central Michigan hands it off, and they find a gap to get themselves a first down. Central Michigan's driving here. They're going to hand it off again, but this time we're on them to tackle them for a loss. Peter on the play. And Central Michigan finds a lane again, and they get another first down. So after beating us through the ground for most of this drive, our defense manages to get them to 3rd down and 8. They're going to try a speed option. He fakes the pitch, but Per Dare brings him down for a big loss to stall their drive out. Central Michigan's going to come out here and attempt the field goal. Snap, hold, and the kick is up and good. We almost got a block there, but Central Michigan manages to put the field goal through. 2nd and short, it's another RPO to Pete Dinklage once again. Peter Peterson waits till the last possible second to hit Pete to get us the first down and get to their side of the 50. We're going to hand this off to Peter Peck, and he's got a wide open gap to give us a huge gain just outside their red zone. Another 2nd and short situation. The Piranhas come out. We're going to do a fake, and he hits Peter Boyle over the middle and almost gets us really close to the end zone there. We come out in double stack. Peter Peterson's going to fire it. He's going to find Pedro O'Toole for the short touchdown. This offense is just absolutely on fire to begin this game. 3 possessions, 3 touchdowns. So after that touchdown, our defense has Central Michigan on a 3rd and 8. See if we can get off the field here. They're going to drop back, and Peter Jack comes in from his blind side to get the sack. And he's going to do some push-ups to stun on him. So a defensive hold leads to a Pete run right up the middle, and Central Michigan's got no answer for that as we get a first down. We hand it off to Pete, and he gets around the edge, and he breaks a tackle, he almost stayed in bounds there, just stepped out. It's 3rd down and 6. We send Sir Peter in motion. Drops back, and he's going to get sacked. The first sack we've given up today, and that's going to lead to the first stop on the day for the Central Michigan defense. And the kick is up, and it's straight through the uprights. Steve P. manages to help us put some points on the board there. Central Michigan they're continuing their excellent cause on the ground today with a big run there. With 36 seconds left, Central Michigan's trying their best to get in scoring position, and they're going to do it with another big run off a power read there. They're going to do a play action, and they have found a guy, and he manages to get them just inside our red zone. With the clock running down, Central Michigan's going to drop back. He's looking for somebody. He's going to step up into the pocket. He's got a lane, and he's going to just get held out of the end zone by our defense there. They drop back. They're going to find a guy wide open in the end zone, and Central Michigan puts a touchdown on the board right before the end of the first half. Central Michigan's trying to take advantage of that end of half touchdown, but we have them on 3rd and 7 here. They're going to try a speed option. They're going to pitch it out, and he's got the first down and more. Our defense comes out for another 3rd down, looking to get them off the field this time. Central Michigan is just going to hand it off, and we are all over it with nowhere to go. Peter makes the big hit to stop him. On 3rd down and 3, the Piranhas are going to drop back and quickly find Peter Boyle over the middle for a nice completion and a first down. Peter Peterson scans. He's going to find Sir Peter wide open over the middle of the field for a first down. 3rd down and 2 on their side of the field. We're going to drop back to pass. And we're going to find Pierre Pete over the middle of the field, and he gets it just outside of their red zone. 2 straight runs with Pete don't net us much as we're facing a 3rd down and 11 just outside of their red zone. Peter Peterson drops back. He's going to throw, and it's a nice contested catch by Pedro O'Toole, but he's just short. We're going to go for it here on 4th and 1, trying to push the envelope. Peter Peterson's going to drop back, quickly find Peter Boyle, who gets away from the defense, and he's going to get in for the touchdown. Peter Boyle having a nice game out there with his 2nd touchdown of the game. Peter Peterson's just been very decisive today. Peter Boyle just catching everything in sight and making things very easy for his quarterback and our offense. They got a guy, and he's got the jet touch pass, and he brings it for a first down. Coming into the 4th quarter, Central Michigan is facing a 2nd and 12. We're going to do a little play action, and Peter Jack comes in with his 2nd sack of the game. He has just been a menace off the edge for us, especially in MAC conference play. Central Michigan's going to come out for it on 4th down. Looking for anybody. He's going to scramble and get the first down. We send big pressure, and they take advantage of it, finding their guy wide open for a first down. On 3rd down and 5, Central Michigan is going to take the snap. He's going to fake it to his running back, and he's going to fumble, and Central Michigan is going to jump on it to give themselves a first down. They got away with one there. On 2nd down and short, Central Michigan's going to hand it off again. He's got a little gap, and he's able to keep their drive moving. From the 15-yard line, Central Michigan, we're going to hand it off again to the outside, but we're there. Peter Cottontail brings him down for a loss. They're going to go back to pass. Pocket collapses, but he delivers a strike to get him into the end zone there. They just found the gap in our zone coverages there, and they're able to bring it within 2 touchdowns. Peter Peterson's going to take the snap and find Pete Dinklage wide open. Nobody there at all to try to cover him, and they get it to almost midfield. Peter Peterson's going to find Pete Ackler over the middle there to get us a first down and keep the drive moving. Peter Peterson's going to find Peter Boyle, and he's going to get us another first down. Just everything he touches turns to gold in this game. Pete's going to take it up the middle. He jukes out a guy and gets us a nice gain. After Central Michigan tackled us for a loss, we find ourselves on a 3rd and 2 with just over 2 minutes left in the game. We're going to do an RPO to Pete, and he gets us the first down. At the 2-minute warning, we're on a 2nd and goal. We're going to No, we're not. Oh, no. On an RPO play, Peterson tries throwing it to Pedro O'Toole, but Central Michigan baited him into an interception there. Just not a good decision from our quarterback, but also a great defensive play by Central Michigan. So fortunately, that interception did not come back to bite us, as our defense was able to hold on, and we got the 31-17 win against Central Michigan. Taking a look at the stats against Central Michigan, we were able to outgain them by exactly 100 yards, and we got over 400 yards of total offense, which you love to see. And our running game got 135 yards, while the passing game had 281. Peterson was excellent in this game, as he had 281 yards and 3 touchdowns. He did have that kind of boneheaded interception at the end there, but thankfully it didn't come back to bite us. And he only got sacked 1 time, so after that being such a big problem for us this season, that's a really nice improvement there from the team. Pete had a really nice game today with 17 carries and 90 yards for 5 yards a carry, and he scored his first touchdown of the season, which you love to see. Receiving-wise, a bunch of guys got involved today, with Pete leading the way with 7 catches and 71 yards. Pete Dinklage had 6 catches and 66 yards. Peter Boyle made some fantastic plays for us with 7 catches, 64 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And then Pedro O'Toole had a modest stat line with 4 catches, 23 yards, and that 1 touchdown. Defensively, Pete Pistol had 12 tackles and 2 tackles for a loss, which you don't see often from cornerbacks, but anytime they can make plays in the backfield, you'll take it. Peter Jack was living in the backfield today with 2 sacks and 3 tackles for a loss. And Steve P. came out and absolutely nailed a 52-yard field goal, so we love to see that from our guy. We were able to sign Will linebacker Matt Caraway to add to our defensive personnel. Unfortunately, it wasn't all good news on the recruiting front, as Notre Dame took over for gem receiver Steve Warrior, so we're probably going to have to give up on him, unfortunately. After the bye week, we got another commitment from right tackle Steven Driver, and as I thought, we did lose Steve Warrior to Notre Dame. Despite that disappointment with Steve Warrior, I went ahead and looked at some other guys to try to add to the team, and I was able to find this gem right guard with Ben Hickson and a gem Mike linebacker Anthony Kaufman. And I also added a few 4-stars that weren't really being recruited, so just trying to see what we can get here. This week we have Kent State, and they're a 64 overall, and they're 1-5 on the season, but can't take any games for granted, so we got to go out there and take care of business.
All those things are really, really good, but you also need guys that will hold people.
We come out on our first play and immediately hit a nice game to Peter Boyle. Kent State responds after that first down by getting us on a 3rd and 8. Come out in an empty formation. Peterson throws, and he's got Peter Ackler wide open to get us a nice first down. Peterson drops back and finds Pierre right over the middle of the field. Try a stretch play to Pete, and he's got a wide open lane. A nice block springs him free for the touchdown. The Peteytown Piranhas strike first, and they strike really quickly, and we have an early 7-0 lead. Our defense delivers a quick 3-and-out to Kent State, and they take the ball over on the 40-yard line. We start with a nice handoff to Pete, who gets a little chunk play up the middle. On 3rd down and inches, Peterson is going to drop back to pass and throw it quickly, and he's got Pedro O'Toole, and he escapes the defender to give us even more yards to get it into their territory. We come out empty, and we send Pete in motion. We're going to hike the ball, and we hit it over the middle to Peter Capaldi, that is, and he gets it into their red zone. The Piranhas are really moving now. We're going to do another bubble screen, and Pete Dinklage avoids the defenders and almost gets it into the end zone. On second down and goal, we're going to run a little RPO play, and Pete Dinklage is wide open for the touchdown. And the Piranhas go up 2 scores, and they're just moving and grooving now on Kent State. We have Kent State reeling after we put up 14 points in the first quarter. They're going to come out here with a read option, and Big Pete is all over that one for a 4-yard loss. On third down and 8, the defense is looking for another 3 and out. Let's see if they can get it here. They're going to drop back to pass. Finds nothing, and Big Pete comes in with a sack. He gets a tackle for a loss on first down, and then he ends the drive with a sack to force Kent State off the field. On an RPO play, we got Peter Boyle streaking down the field, and he almost gets it into the end zone there. Peter Peterson with an absolute strike in between the safety and corner, and Peter Boyle takes full advantage, getting us to the 1-yard line. After that big strike to Peter Boyle, we enter the second quarter just a yard away from a touchdown. Peter Peck jukes out of the way, and he has an easy touchdown set up by some nice blocks. And the Piranhas are up 21-0 before Kent State can even realize what's going on out there. On third down and 6, the defense is looking for their 3rd straight 3 and out in the game. Let's see if they can manage to do it. They're going to drop back, and they get a guy open, and that's their first down of the game. Kent State's going to drop back and try a screen pass, but Big Pete, who has been absolutely everywhere so far early in this game, gets him for a 5-yard loss. On 3rd and 15, Kent State's going to drop back to pass again. Finding nothing, firing downfield, and he's got a guy wide open. Our coverage just couldn't hold up as they got some time there, and our pass rush couldn't get in there. So after that big play, Kent State's got some momentum going finally. We send some pressure, but they pick it up well, and they're going to hit their guy on a jumping catch, and he gets it to our 7-yard line. After a couple big pass plays, Kent State's going to come out. They're looking to read it with their quarterback, and we don't react in time, and he's going to fight his way in there. Just couldn't bring him down, and that's going to put the first points on the board for Kent State. So our offense couldn't manage anything on 1st and 2nd down, so they're faced with a 3rd and 9 here. Looking over the field, he's going to find Pete Dinklage over the middle of the field. He got behind their zones and got a big gain on that one. We hurry to the line, and we're going to hit Pete Dinklage on a nice RPO play, and he gets separation, and he's got green grass in front of him, and he's going to score. A huge gain by Pete Dinklage. He used his speed to get around their defense there, and we're going to go up and get our 3-score lead back, all thanks to Pete Dinklage. So each team got a defensive stop, and Kent State's going to take back over on a read option, and he gets some nice blocks to get him a 1st down. Kent State's going to try an RPO, and we tackle him, but he just pushes his way forward for a 1st down. Kent State drops back on 3rd down, and we hit him, but he's able to break Peter Alonso's tackle to get a 1st down. Kent State drops back again, but our pressure is there. And that is Petar Guitar on the sack. I believe his 1st sack of the season, and it comes at a really nice time for us. Following that big sack from Petar Guitar, Kent State's going to drop back again. They get rid of it quickly this time, and they make the catch. And they get it close to the 1st down. On 3rd down and 1, Kent State is going to hike the ball. He's going to hand it up the middle. He takes it to the side, but we're there to stop him from getting the 1st down. After a long drive, the defense is going to force them to take a field goal, and the kick is up, and it's through the uprights. Peter Peterson finds Peter Ackler quickly there. He gets a 1st down to keep our drive moving. After we get that 1st down, we got 32 seconds left to work with only 1 timeout. Peter Peterson's going to throw, and he's got Pierre Pete open to get it to their side of the 50. The clock is running down now. We're going to see if we can make something happen. And we got a 1st down to Pedro O'Toole. Let's see if we can get up, and the clock is going to stop with the 1st down, so that'll help us. We're going to come in and spike the ball with 6 seconds left. Petey Previtt's going to send Sir Peter out there to attempt the long field goal, and the kick is up. And it is through the uprights. Very nice kick from Steve P to give us those extra points before the first half ends. We go up 31-10. The defenses for both teams are trading stops, and we find ourselves on the field again on offense. And we hit Pierre Pete for a nice gain over the middle. Peter Peterson's going to hand it off to Sir Peter, and he's got some room to get us the first down. On third down and short, the offense is looking to keep the drive moving. He's going to hit Peter Ackler with another catch on the game. He fit that into a tight window there. It's third down and 5 for the Piranhas. We're going to drop back, see if we can find anybody, and he does. He finds Pierre Pete near the sidelines, and he gets us another first down. We send Pierre Pete in motion. See what we got here. He's going to have Peter Boyle on a slant, and he's got room to run. And we get another first down, and we're at the 13-yard line. The offense is cooking now. See if they can punch in another touchdown. He's going to have Pierre Pete wide open, and he's going to score. Another touchdown for the Piranhas as Pierre Pete salutes the crowd and thanks them for coming to this blowout. Kent State's going to drop back, and he's dropping back way too far as Geeter, Peter, and friends get the sack. After that sack, Kent State is on a third down and 16. They're going to drop back, and it's going to be intercepted. That's Pita Bread on the interception, and he could take it back all the way as they don't have the speed to catch him. And that's going to be a pick 6 for Pita Bread and the Piranhas, and we're just rubbing salt in the wound now as we're going to go up 45-10. Just comes out of absolutely nowhere, flying in to get that interception. Great effort to bring it all the way back, and that poor offensive lineman just has no answer for it. So just an absolutely dominant win from the Peteytown Piranhas today. They got the 59-13 win. They added a touchdown to Peter Boyle and Pete in that fourth quarter to make the lead even bigger. And Peter Peterson and the boys just played absolutely fantastic. There's the clip of the Peter Boyle touchdown that I didn't show just because we were up by so much. But yeah, great effort from the guys on offense, defense, all over the field today. The stats, as you can imagine from this game, are just heavily favored in our direction. We had 503 yards to their 261. Our running game was on point with 123 yards and 3 touchdowns, and the passing game came to play with 380 yards to their 225. On third down, we got 5 of 7, and they were 5 of 16. Peter Peterson was basically flawless in this game today. He had 380 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and only 1 sack, so just impressive across the board for him. On the ground, Pete led the way with 9 carries, 107 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Receiving-wise, Pete Dinklage was the man with 9 catches, 120 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Peter Boyle had 5 catches, 113 yards, and 1 touchdown. And then Pierre Pete had 6 catches, 65 yards, and 1 touchdown. Defensively, we were led by our guy Peter Alonso with 13 tackles and 3 tackles for a loss. Sacks-wise, Petar Guitar led the way with 2 sacks. Big Pete was behind him with 1 sack, but he also added 5 tackles for a loss, so you'll love to see that. Then Peter Jack, Geeter Peter, Pear Dare, and Petruchio DeLucchio all had half a sack each, so a lot of guys getting involved today in the backfield. And then we also saw that 1 interception by Peter Bread where he took it 48 yards to the house for a pick 6, so always love making turnovers and turning them into touchdowns. Finally, kicking-wise, Steve P. made his only field goal. It was a nice 51-yarder, and he made all 8 extra points today, so that just shows you the offense was clicking. We got some nice news with Peter Bread winning MAC Defensive Player of the Week with that pick 6. So the Piranhas are ready to visit Akron now with their 61 overall. It's our easiest game on paper so far, but can't take them lightly, and they are 0-7, so could be a classic trap game if we don't come in focused. So we got to go in there and come out with a W here. So our defense gets a quick 3 and out, and our offense takes over here. And we're going to hit a pop pass to Pierre Pete, who makes a nice leaping grab to get the ball into their territory. This time we hand it off to Pete, and he's got the edge, and he makes a spin and gets us inside their red zone on a nice 17-yard run. Peter Peterson's directing some traffic out there now. We're going to hike it off and hit Pierre Pete quickly, and he gets around a nice block from Pedro O'Toole to get us a first down. We drop back to pass again, and he's got Peter Ackler for his first touchdown of his career. And Peteytown goes up quickly, 7-0. What an exciting moment for the team as Pete Ackler gets in there. Just absolutely wonderful to see that. You always want to see your young guys contributing, and he does there. The defense comes back on the field looking to assert their will on the Akron Zips here. Got a little pressure coming. He can't get away from it, and he's going to go down for the sack. What a great play there. That's Pete Mesquite coming from his cornerback position, his slot cornerback position, and he's able to get him down for the sack. After that big sack from Pete Mesquite, it's 3rd down and 15. They're just going to hand it off, and Peter Alonso says, "No, thank you, sir." It's going to be a nice pass to Pete Dinklage right over the middle. Pete's going to find a hole in the middle of the defense, and he gets us another first down. After a couple of Sir Peter runs, we find ourselves on 3rd down and 3. We got an empty formation with Pedro O'Toole coming in motion. He's going to get rid of it quick, and it's Pierre Pete on the reception to get the first down. The offense hit a little bit of a wall, so they're facing a 3rd down and 9. Peter Peterson scans the field, and he almost throws an interception. I thought that was an interception for sure. Steve P is going to come on. He's in the middle of the field, so should be an easy kick for him, and it is, as we go up 10-0 over Akron. After the defense got a stop, our offense finds themselves on 3rd down and 4 from the 19-yard line. We're scanning. Pete Dinklage makes a tough catch in traffic to get us a first down. Peter Peterson drops back, looking, fires, and he finds Pete Dinklage in a tight window near the sideline to get us another first down. The Piranhas enter the second quarter on a 2nd down and 8 here. And we're going to go with an RPO, and we're going to hit Pete Ackler over the middle. He's just having a really nice game for us here. The freshman is really making himself heard out there. Peter Peterson hustles the troops to the line, and we get a nice gap up the middle for Pete, and we're just building on that momentum now. The Piranhas find themselves on a 3rd down and 8 after a sack, and we're going to see if we can keep the drive moving. Peter Peterson's floating it, and it's an amazing catch there by Pete Dinklage. Over 2 guys, he makes a jumping catch, and he can swagger around there all he wants. That was so impressive. Unbelievable catch. Look at Pete Dinklage here. Peter Peterson floats it up to give him a chance, and he makes just a fantastic catch there. Wow. Akron sets up for a 3rd down and 4 here, trying to make something happening. We're going to drop back, and he's going to find a guy over the middle, and we just can't catch him until he gets to our side of the 50. And Akron figures they might as well try and go for it on 4th down and 5. Their guy is calling out some adjustments. He's going to drop back, and he's going to find this guy, and he's around Peter Lightning. Peter Cottontail has to come in and save the day. On 3rd down and 3, Akron is looking to see what they got, and he's going to get sacked. I thought he was going to have a guy open, but Peter Jack manages to get him right before he could get rid of it. After that sack, Akron has to settle for a field goal. And the kick is up, and he puts it through, giving them a 17-3 deficit here. We come out in an empty formation on 3rd down and 3. Peter Peterson looks to throw it quick, and he's got Sir Peter to give us a first down. At the 2-minute warning from midfield, we're going to see if we can keep this drive moving. Peter Peterson's dropping back. He fires quickly, and he's got Pete Ackler for another big gain. Can't say enough about how the freshman is impacting this one today. After a couple of completions, we're here on 3rd down and 4. Peter Peterson is going to drop back, looks and fires quickly to Peter Boyle, and they say he got the first down. I thought he was a little short, but I will take that first down. We hit Sir Peter over the middle. He's charging towards the end zone, and they keep him out, and he gets us to the 3-yard line. From the 3-yard line, we come out in an empty formation. And Peter Peterson's going to run. He's going to go around the edge, and he's got it. He's got the touchdown. Peter Peterson is not the fleetest of foot out there, but he used what he did have to get around there and get us into the end zone. Akron misses a field goal, and that sets our offense up nicely. And Sir Peter's going to take advantage with a nice catch over the middle for a first down. Pete's got a big lane. He's got some big blocks to get him another first down to keep us moving. After a couple of first downs, Akron has us here on 3rd down and 5 as we're trying to really put this one away early in the 3rd quarter. Peter Peterson finds Peter Boyle, and he manages to stay in bounds to keep the drive moving with another first down. 3rd down and 2 from their 20-yard line. Peter Peterson's dropping back and fires quickly to Pete Dinklage, who gets us another first down. Out here in a spread formation, we're going to drop back and pass. And Pete's wide open, and he's going to get into the end zone. Nobody was covering our running back there, and he makes him pay with a nice touchdown grab. And we're going to go up 31-3 on the Akron Zips. And Big Pete comes out of nowhere and gets a big sack there. They just had no answer for our big guy in the middle. After that Big Pete sack, it's 3rd down and 12 for Akron. They're just in dazed and confused mode right now. And Pete Mesquite is going to come in and get a strip sack, and it's picked up by Pear Dare for a defensive touchdown. That's going to be the easiest touchdown he ever scores in his life. Oh my goodness, this defense has just been all over Akron, and they get rewarded with a defensive touchdown there. So the Piranhas take care of business against Akron with a 45-10 win. Each team added a touchdown in the 4th quarter there. And Peter Peterson, as you can see, had a really nice game once again. And just absolute domination for the 2nd week in a row for the Piranhas. You can see Pierre Pete scoring that touchdown that we didn't see after the game was well in hand. And just a lot to celebrate here with the Piranhas. Looking at some stats here, we had a nice 413 yards of offense while we kept them just under the 300-yard mark. The running game was good once again with 152 yards and a score. And the passing game wasn't as explosive as our last game, but just very efficient and productive. And 3rd down, 70%, and they had only 18%. Just fantastic job by the defense getting off the field and letting our offense cook. Peter Peterson, you saw his stats. He had those 261 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. And once again, he was only sacked once, so those sack problems that we were having seem to be a thing of the past, and hopefully that trend continues. Running the ball, Pete had 23 carries for 141 yards. He didn't get it in the end zone on the ground, but he did have that receiving touchdown, so like that all-around game from him. Receiving, nobody was dominant, but we just got production from a few different guys. Pete Dinklage had 7 catches for 73 yards and 1 touchdown. This Pierre Pete, he had 5 catches for 54 yards and a touchdown late. Freshman Pete Ackler had 4 catches for 46 yards and that first career touchdown for him, so congratulations for that. On defense, Peter Alonso led us with 16 tackles and 2 tackles for a loss. Talk about getting to the quarterback. Our defense tallied 6 sacks today, with Pete Mesquite, of all people, leading us with 2.5 sacks. And he also had that strip sack that we returned for a touchdown. And also in the garbage time, he had another strip sack, but we didn't recover that one. But he also had that interception, and It was also in garbage time, but it was a nice diving interception by him, so he was just all over the field, an absolute monster. And behind him, Big Pete had 2 sacks and 3 tackles for a loss, and Peter Jack added a sack, and Pear Dare added half a sack, so a lot of guys contributing on defense today, but Pete Mesquite being the biggest contributor of all. And Steve P. only needed to come out once for a field goal, and he nailed it. It was a 41-yard attempt, and again, he was perfect on his extra points. And like you thought, Pete Mesquite got MAC Defensive Player of the Week, just an absolute terror on the defensive side of the ball. And Pete Mesquite got that respect for National Defensive Player of the Week. I'm so proud of him and the effort that he put in out there. So I'm really happy with how the Piranhas handle themselves with 3 straight road games, and we're finally going to be returning home to play UMass, but that'll have to wait for next episode. I'll see you guys in the next video.